It's mock draft season. Let's talk about one of the latest mock drafts, and that is on CBS Sports, where they have the Commanders potentially trading up. And before we get into what they project, here's what Adam Peters said about the possibility.
That's certainly something that we'll consider. We'll consider everything, trading up, trading down. We always do. With trading down, you have to have somebody who wants to trade up, and that's what I always say, like, I'd love to trade down all the time, but there has to be somebody else that wants to trade up, and it has to be the right deal. And how far do you want to go back? And all those different things you take into account. Who's there on the board, right? Is there just one player on the board that you want? And if that's the case, then maybe you think twice about trading back but if you have 5 players on the board that you really like, you can trade back a few picks and then you can just pick one of those. And I think, with what we did in free agency and through the trades, we have the optionality to really do anything at 29, which we feel really good about.
I need to start working optionality more into my vocab. He loves that word.
I'm not even sure it's a word.
He's a big fan of that word.
You don't need to throw in the ality.
You don't need the. It's an option.
Optionality. It just sounds fancier.
Optionality, the quality of being available to be chosen but not obligatory. So I guess according to Google, it's a word.
It's definitely a word.
It refers to potential for options. But I'm with you. You could just say option.
Yeah, we like the option.
But he likes the optionality.
I mean, it just would be bizarre to me that they would trade up. So they have them potentially. This is a CBS mock that they're using, trading up to get the corner from Michigan, Will Johnson.
Love Michigan corners.
They're very familiar with that group, obviously. I guess they say Johnson's coming off an injury, and so not necessarily a stellar 2024.
So if that's the case, then why even trade up? If he's falling down the draft board, maybe
maybe they don't considered falling. Maybe he would have been top 5.
I think I saw some mocks that had him like top 10, top 12 a few months ago, but I mean, this one clearly has his stock dropping.
They have 5 picks right now. If they trade up for someone that they love, that they see is available, let's say in the early 20s, they have to give them. They're really going to give up another pick? We're going to be down to like 3 or 4 picks?
I would guess if they move up, it's a future, like a 2026 or 2027 pick.
Right.
Now, teams aren't going to want a 2027 pick. I'm going to guess they're going to hold out for a 2026 pick. But I don't think he can. I don't think he can afford to deal away any more 2025 picks.
It seems crazy.
At a disadvantage.
Right.
You know what? I'm calling shenanigans. Adam Peters will not trade up in the first round.
What if it's somebody they love?
I'm just going to go with the draft capital they currently have.
What would be a position or player? What if Ashton? How do you say his name? Genty. What if he starts slipping?
Where does he slip? Tell me where he falls to.
14, 15.
I mean, I don't really see that happening, but if he does fall to 15...
Well, in this mock, they have him going 10. What if he slips to 14, 15, and they go, he's a game changer?
I mean, if he slips to 15, I guess Peters might start making calls with teams that are...
What position would be... What position or what guy?
Personally, I'd have a hard time trading a lot of assets to move up for a running back, especially
even him,
especially in a deep running back class, which this one is.
All right.
So maybe like if there's an edge rusher that he loves that falls to 15 or 20 and he doesn't think he's going to be there at 29, then maybe you make that move up. But for a running back, I'm not going to make that move up. I have to have standards.
So an edge rusher, you would do it.
Edge rusher, I would do it.
What about a receiver?
Again, I think you can wait at 29 or even at pick 61 and find a really good receiver in this draft. And I love wide receivers. You know this. Yeah. Documented wide receiver lover right here.
Right.
Not moving up in this draft specifically for a wideout. I'm going to stand pat and pick a guy.
Do you like the receiver from Arizona? You're a Pac-10 guy or whatever. You're a
very
West
talented.
guy.
I mean, I don't like
Arizona.
Big. He's very talented.
He hates Arizona.
I know, but he's big.
That.
I mean, yeah.
6'4".
Tet McMillan's going to be, all last season he was projected as a top 5 pick.
They have him here as the number 1 ranked receiver. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
He is.
Yeah. But there are people are picking him apart as the draft process goes further and further on.
What are they saying with him?
I mean, they're saying that he's not a great they're saying he's a great number 2. He's not a number 1 receiver.
That's fine.
Well, in this mock, he would be the number 2 to the team he gets mocked to Dallas at 12 because he'd be the number 2 to CD Lamb. So
some people just think he's not an absolute game changer. I don't know. I mean, if you look at Cakes' fantasy drafts for next year, the rookies, he'll go like 1 or 2. Probably Genty and then McMillan.
I'm going to need some help because I think our Dynasty League, are we able to start making moves? I think I got an email about that. And I think something in my pants might have moved.
There's also a video that's resurfaced of him talking about how he doesn't like watching game tape.
Okay.
Which guy? McMillan?
Yeah.
Doesn't like football. Doesn't like watching.
You can't draft him.
He was like,
trade him.
That's also 18 or something when he said it.
Okay.
That's also that's why a lot of people are seeing him and
knocking him.
Yeah, drop in the draft. It's because of what he said, basically when he was a freshman or just coming out of high school.
I'm just trying to look at guys projected in the first round in this mock.
Drab, will you be able to root for McMillan once he gets to the league? Because I know you don't root for him in college because he plays for the Wildcats.
He's wearing, if he's playing at Lumen Field, I'll be rooting for him.
Okay. Or playing at Allegiant Stadium. Because you're also a Raiders fan, documented.
Where are we where are we currently slotted to pick in the first round?
29. 29. I know it's foreign territory for Commanders fans to be picking this late in the first round. But hopefully get used to picking in the late 20s, if not the 30s over the next few years.
Would you if they stayed, would you be excited if they drafted James Pierce Jr., the edge
rusher out of Tennessee?
They have him ranked as the 4th best edge rusher.
I think that would be a good fit. I think he has some off the field issues.
He does?
I'd have to double check that. I think he's got a bit of a checkered past.
He looks kind of mean in his biopic.
I'm okay with mean.
I like mean.
You know who's mean? Javon Kinlaw's mean.
Is he mean?
Well, he strikes me as when he gets on the football field, strikes me as a mean dude. Like plays with a real edge.
Well, you know who I got that vibe from? I said the moment I laid eyes on him at the draft was Micah Parsons. That guy, when he was drafted, you're like, oh my God. Just the way he walked out there, that guy's a monster.
Yeah, well, he's a killer. He got in a scrap with a teammate at Penn State, like in the locker room. Like he's got some edge to him.
Yeah, he had some, you saw it.
And look, if
Pierce has that, you tell me Pierce has that?
If you have a controlled version of that, like on the football field, and it doesn't bleed over into your regular life and personal life, that's what you need. That's how you need to corral it. Just have it on the football field.
Right.
Tough for some of these guys to turn it off, though.
I'm just trying to see who would be worthy of trading up for. I'm not sure I see. I don't know anything, but just based sort of on need.
I think the likelihood
Pat
is that they trade down, if anything.
If anything, trade down. About. Yeah. What is it, Drab? What are the positions they say this draft is most deep at?
I think interior play, defensive line, offensive line.
Mm-hmm. God, that's kind of boring.
Running back also pretty deep.
Running back very deep.
Running back very deep. So they'll definitely take a running back.
I don't think there's anything definite. They don't have that many picks.
There might be 25 teams that take running backs this year.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of them taken.
I saw a mock draft on CBS before that had them standing pat and taking this guy, Gray Zabel, who's from North Dakota State, a big lineman, interior lineman.
Well, I know that's a great program.
So it'll be interesting to see what Peters does. He's been a little different than what people expected in that he's been willing to give up draft capital for guys like Marshawn Lattimore and Deebo Samuel.
Well, they're clearly making a run to just go now. Like, it's all in. They're definitely all in. Do you think
you should be? You made the NFC Championship game.
What's the story with Hendrickson? Still beef? It seems like the beef is widening, right? Like
he was upset with some language being used.
With some of the comments made by the ownership of the Bengals.
Like that situation seems like it's getting worse, not better.
It's volatile out there in Cincinnati.
Like the Myles Garrett situation, they were like, yeah, we're not trading him. And eventually they worked it out.
Right.
This one, they said, we're not trading him. We're not trading. They might be trading him.
Well, he'd be welcomed here if he got traded here. I know that.
Is there any speculation that it could be like a draft day trade?
Haven't heard much on it. in the last couple of weeks.
I feel like that situation's getting worse.
You know what? Again, Adam Peters has surprised us a bunch of times. Could have something up the sleeve. Could be working on it.
The latest article I see says that the rumors are that the contract extension talks are actually going well.
They are.
Who knows?
The vibe you get just from what you read is that it's not. It's going in the other direction. What do you make of the Cardinals signing that tight end to the big deal?
Trey McBride?
Isn't he only like 22, 23
Oh,
years
he's
old?
a stud.
So
he's a super stud.
So he's worth of all that money.
Do you like tight ends that can catch 100 balls in a season and are impactful on your offense?
I guess, but I mean, he's so young. They're so far, aren't they?
He's
far
an ascending
away?
Aren't
they far away?
I
Putting a lot of money into a tight end.
He's a homegrown guy that they drafted that is amongst the top 2 or 3 tight ends in the league. I mean, those are guys that you just pay and ink to long-term deals.
Seem like a lot of money for a tight end, but okay.
I think the odds of Trey Hendrickson landing in Washington are slim, very slim.
But what if they actually make a move? Aren't we one of the top 3 or 4 contenders?
Rumored, but I'm telling you, I think he's going to end up in Cincinnati. I mean, it's similar to, T. Higgins, all that talk. He ends up in Cincinnati. They gave Jamar Chase and T. Higgins huge deals.
But it happened a long time ago. Why hasn't it happened yet?
Because they're negotiating. Right. Sometimes these things drag out. Do you remember how long we talked about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson? They're already talking about an extension with Lamar Jackson. So it's just the way the NFL works. All right, coming up next, we'll switch gears. We'll open up EB's entertainment page here on the Junks.